Have you ever been watching Star Wars and thought, it's good and all, but what it really needs is more explosions? Mayhaps not, but whether you think so or not, I intend to make it a reality. Here's the challenge. Will I be able to survive the horrors of war in 2005 Star Wars Battlefront 2's entire story when I'm only allowed to make things go boom? Growing up, I always avoided using the rocket trooper, but now I'll be relying on him most of all in order to win. I'll need every explosive possible, from grenades, mines, to rockets, grenade launchers, and explosive lasers if I'm gonna win. I'll never be allowed to make use of any other attack, so let's hope I can survive, even if it means I have to detonate the whole galaxy to do it. We start by skipping training, because who needs that? When has training ever helped anyone? Especially when you have a walking tank to help you.
Reinforcements have been depleted. Return to base for reassignment.
Alright, to be fair, given my skill set, I'd be doomed to die like this regardless of any training. At least I earned a medal for my prowess in battle. Sure, it's for dying more than anyone, but a medal is a medal. I finally amounted to something, Dad. Though honestly, I can't help but feel that these droids aren't trying too hard to kill me at points. I'm not sure if I should be insulted that I'm not worth the trouble or relieved. But either way, it gives me the chance to grab vital intel and book it. Now it's only a simple run to the extraction for victory. If I wasn't an easily startled idiot, that is. I have every right to that fear on Felucia. Nothing destroys the strength and confidence in a good soldier quite like those screams.
What is that thing?
If I wasn't so terrified, I'd be able to actually hit one of these things. Yeah, that's it, and not at all any other reason for me missing. I also discovered my biggest enemy in the game here. Whenever I throw out a mine near an enemy, it's highly effective at killing them, but also highly effective at killing this guy called himself, whoever he is. Over and over and over, throughout every battle of the war, I'd keep killing himself more than anyone. And I guess there's a glitch that whenever I do that, I die too. What a weird glitch. Maybe I'd die less though if my fellow soldiers did more than stand around in silence while I did all the work. But what kind of group project would this be if more than one person did anything useful? Maybe they're bitter about how no battle seems to end without me getting the medal for most betrayal kills. Well, first, maybe they shouldn't always run right into my mines or directly in front of me as I open fire. That'd be great. And two, why the heck do they give out medals for the biggest traitor in a battle? That seems counterproductive. At least I can always escape to the one place I don't have to be a traitor in.
Space!
And who knew how easy space battles are when you can just fly a few feet from enemy ships, dropping bombs on them and never getting shot at? You really think they'd have created a plan for a ship getting this close? But apparently, it never occurred to them. Obvious oversights for the win! And then it happened. Did you hear that? The words every mortal soul fears to hear.
What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
Not this guy again! I better hurry and save Kashyyyk to get him off my back. Only problem is how hellish the fighting is here. First, I have to hold the line for 3 whole minutes, which feels like 3 days with how heavy the fighting is, and then immediately protect this thingy here for 4 minutes. If I didn't have so many walking carpets to throw at the droids, I'd be toast. Even this tank isn't enough to hold back the onslaught of droids as the timer takes its sweet time counting down, and far too quickly, I'm the only clone left fighting. Screw it. You guys can have whatever this is. I just want to live. Think the Force when the timer reaches 0 and the droids just change their mind about destroying it. How kind of the droids to just say, nah, never mind, after being on the verge of victory. Utapau should be a breeze at least thanks to
General Kenobi gathered an army large enough to capture 3 star systems.
15 men? I have 15 reinforcements. He said large enough for 3 star systems. How small are these systems that 15 men will do? Are we sending 5 men per system? I can't even take 1 command post with this many men. My god, it's the end of the war. You think the Republic could be a little less stingy with how many troopers they send to end it. No wonder Grievous keeps getting away the last 3 years of the war. It's not like he's even a threat. Look at this. 2 rockets to the knees and he's definitely not going to be an adventurer anymore. took 3 seconds to do something the Jedi couldn't pull off in 3 years. I'm just saying. Surely being Palpatine's master plan revolves fully around exterminating the Jedi. He'll send a proper legion to take their temple at least. Nope. Just 50 men against a temple full of extremely deadly Jedi who pop out of the ceiling to ambush us. Guess I should be thankful it's not 15, but can't help but feel for all of Palpatine's great planning. He could have spared a few hundred more men. Honestly, this whole mission in his grand plan would be bust if not for the power of mining every entrance to me, then mining every area of the library so all the ambushing Jedi land smack dab on explosives. Shame the Force didn't warn you guys about that. You'd think for all the Jedi's power and skill, they'd be able to kill me as the sole clone left. But nope, a brisk jog to the exit with their intel, and no one tries to stop me. This is what happens when you send all the smart Jedi to die in the war, and leave all the dumb ones back at home. For all their power, even the Masters can't seem to grasp the concept of running into bright red mines might be bad for their health. But it's like the Jedi say, there is no death. There is only the force of my explosions. When invading Naboo, the game gives me 3 minutes to kill their queen, but I managed to do it under 5 seconds despite Jedi protection. Who needs the Force when you have a tank? Gives my men more time to pose dramatically for the cutscenes. Perhaps if they spent more time training instead, I wouldn't start this battle constantly dying to the battle droids swarming my ship. Appreciate when they forget they're trying to murder me and just take a seat in our turret system mid-fight. An unorthodox fighting method for sure. Something tells me it's not gonna catch on. It's a true joy of mine when I finally get to play a hero character in the form of Boba Fett to retake the cloning labs of Kamino. But why the heck did they only send 8 of us? And how did one already die before 10 seconds have passed? Oh my god, never mind, there's 100 of us. I love that this level is by far one of the easiest levels in the game. And yet, it's also one where they send the largest force to help out. I need to find a way to email Palpatine about resource management. Or maybe I should tell that to Boba, as he flies away to heaven, I assume, despite the fact that his jetpack can only last about 4 seconds per use. Never gonna see that guy again, I bet. Did you know the Death Star held at least 1 million people on board? Over 1 million loyal Imperials. And yet they only give me 25 of them to hold off an entire prison break? 25 men? No wonder I lose. I guess the other 1 million plus were too busy jumping in the garbage chute and waiting to get squished. Oh wait, no, I managed to do that too. This is one of the most painful missions as I struggle to quell the rebel uprising despite somehow having so little reinforcements, plenty of areas where I'm an easy target, and worst of all, being crushed by garbage over and over, even when it doesn't make sense. As the last surviving reinforcement, it's pure luck and adrenaline that allows me to take the enemy command post, where I'm promptly rewarded with 10 more men. Wow, so glad they could somehow spare 10 men to help me stop this station from getting blown up. So kind of them. And how nice that I now have a 3-minute timer as well. But it's a joyful surprise that the rebellion can't seem to figure out stairs, making it quite easy to play peekaboo with them till their ship has gone kablooey. And of course, instead of much deserved victory, that means a Jedi is here to kill me. But thankfully, he, like those before him, can't grasp that stepping on mines is a quick trip to hanging out with some younglings in Qui-Gon. You know, I don't remember the beginning of A New Hope starting with one crazed rocket trooper blowing up both every rebel and unfortunate Imperial in his line of sight, but I guess this must be part of George Lucas's revised version. Same goes for capturing Princess Leia. I always thought they knocked her out with a stun blast, but nope, blown straight into the Force. George might have gone too far with this change, I have to admit. I wish he would have gone a little further with it and blown up Yavin 4 in this version. Instead, I'm forced to fight my way through waves of rebels, all the while getting zero help from my teammates. It hurts to lose 8 seconds from winning, but it hurts even more to lose with a plethora of reinforcements, as the enemy manages to capture my command post. I'm just saying, if the rebels were cooler, they'd let me win. It would be real swell of them. Instead, I have to rely on the power of tank and screaming in fear while running through the woods as the final person alive. Joke's on them. This is how I spend my weekends normally outside of the game, so I'm prepared for this. Nothing like hijacking an enemy tank and blowing up their leadership from outside their room. Wouldn't work if they still bother to take a few steps to the side, but standing perfectly still while I fire on them is certainly a novel idea. And with that, we've beaten the game. Well, I wish I had anyways. The entire campaign consists of 17 missions, and until this moment, I've only been defeated 6 times. Here on Hoth, the final mission of the game, mockingly called our finest hour, I'll be wishing I'd blown up on the Death Star so I don't have to be here. Despite having massive walkers that can wipe out whole swarms of rebels without any trouble, within 2 minutes, all my reinforcements except me are dead before the first objective can even be accomplished. Pulling it off on my lonesome, I barely take the next command post as the rebel forces refuse to dwindle, no matter how many I send flying. Even blowing up their shield generator brings me no joy, as I now have no walker to help take their heavily guarded hangar, and even if I barely manage to pull that off, I'm then ordered to take over yet another heavily guarded hangar, this time with no reinforcements. No matter how dumb the rebels are, to no one's surprise, this doesn't work out. And if I somehow survive that massacre after a bunch of attempts, the entire mission is on a 20-minute timer, with the rebel forces coming in huge, unending droves. Did I mention how I'm a terrible shot? And since I'm constantly the aggressor in large, open spaces, my mines, which have been my saving grace, don't come in handy most times. And my teammates are turning me into an Overwatch player with how much I'm hating on them. When I get lucky enough to take the final command post, the final objective hidden behind waves of both vicious rebels and a plethora of turrets is to place an orbital strike beacon for our ships to fire on. Only problem is, I then have to defend it for a minute from said rebels, which I fail to do, causing the entire mission to restart. We're a galactic spanning empire who has been preparing for this for years. You're telling me we didn't bring a spare beacon just in case? I see why we're losing this war. When I began this battle, I was at 32 hours and 32 minutes of playing. It wouldn't be for another 4 hours, more than the rest of the game combined, before I'd finally win this frozen hell of a battle. Sheer luck. That's all I can say. Sometimes the Force just has pity on me, and I don't get killed, and only because of that do I manage to survive, complete all the objectives, and conquer Hoth. I don't care what Obi-Wan believes, it was all thanks to luck. Sure, my heart rate is stuck at 300 beats per minute now, but it's all worth it. At least now I'm sure the Empire will reign supreme after all I've sacrificed for it, right? Great. Not my problem. Huzzah! After 19 defeats over 7 hours and 41 minutes, I've beaten Star Wars Battlefront 2 with only explosives. Well, that, plus my body ragdolling every 2 seconds. I thank you all for watching. I hope it's been a blast. Literally. Feel free to blow up the subscribe and like button, perhaps, if you've been enjoying, and comment with, hopefully, explosive enthusiasm. Now go light up a room, preferably with a smile, and not a ton of dynamite. But semantics, right? See you later, friends.